Yo, what's good, BTB Army? Welcome to another brand new episode of Behind the Baller. My name is Ben Baller, not Ben Humble. This is the show where I rarely talk about jewelry. I talk more about life as a dad, of course, about business. I give business tips. And here's one before we start the show. Making $1 million is easy. Keeping it is not. Okay? And by the way, you guys already know, I haven't said it in a long time, but you have to make it a great day. Today is Monday. Make it a great day. Do you want to know why? Because this is not your practice life. All right? Ladies and gentlemen, we have a fire show for you today, coming to you live from the city of San Francisco. Yes, sir. By the way, we are getting closer to episode 200, but this is the weekend wrap up. All right, this is episode 186. And on today's episode, we have WNBA champion Renee Montgomery. She's on here spitting game. She's doing all kinds of big things. My Tatis card is out now. Go cop that bitch. Okay, we made Doge history today. My first official post-COVID meet and greet is tomorrow in the Stack. That's Hayward for those of you who don't know. My Lakers are still uploading, and it was my son's 7th birthday this weekend, and much more on a high Doge-finition episode of the world-famous award-winning podcast. Yo, Miles, Mister, I'm about to get married. You are less than a week from being married, bro. What's good, man? Fuck all that, y'all. Let's fucking go. So yes, no offense, man. You know, Miles, I'm giving you shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? I've seen some Niners talk, and I'm in the Bay right now. You know what I mean? So yes, as of right now, your boy, the Korean Tommy Lasorda, has made Doge history with the first official Major League Baseball endorsed Topps baseball card with a Shiba Inu on it. All right, guys. Not to mention one of the best current players in baseball, Fernando Tatis Jr. Yo, we got him in the fucking 63 low. I'm saying, come on, man. He in the 63 Impala drop top, low riding with the fucking Dogecoin with Shiba Inu sitting shotgun. Stop playing, y'all. Card is fire. You know, I'll use that brown and gold theme and shit. You know what I'm saying? Represent San Diego. You know, it's all rivalry with the baseball shit, but I got love for the 619, okay? This card is available until Thursday morning, but do not sleep. Get that card now, okay? Now, if you're paying attention, I dropped the Dogecoin chains this weekend. Did a little quick strike shock drop, okay? And the diamond 1 of 3 versions sold out. In fact, I could have made a 1 of 10 and those would have sold out. All right. We made 50 plain Jane gold only Dogecoin chains, and they're actually numbered on the back, 1 of 50, 5 of 50, all that shit, everything, right? And we held some for our flagship store reopening. So there will be some when we open up the store. So don't trip, you know what I'm saying? But there's not like, you know, we're limiting how many we put out because we want to have some, you know, want to spread it out. So if you buy my Tatis card, then you can enter a giveaway drawing for a gold plain Jane Dogecoin chain. All right. That fucking rhymed. Okay. This is the most expensive prize that I've given so far to date. Okay. It will be Dogecoin chain 5 of 50 because this is my 5th card. All right. It's a $6,000 chain. It is the best prize I've given so far throughout Project 70. And yes, if you buy 1 card, that means you get 1 ticket or you get 1 entry, okay? If you buy 20 cards, you get 20 entries. It's simple as that, okay? The winner of the chain will be announced this Friday. If I were y'all, I would jump in this motherfucker because the card is fire. Dogecoin, we getting it in right now. Now, speaking of Doge and cryptocurrency kept continuing to show signs of ulcerative colitis, reminiscent of Michael Rappaport and me, yours truly, the Korean John Cusack. It just kept shitting all weekend, okay? But most of the coins are back up from the danger zone. right? As of this morning, they seem kind of cool. I bought the dip at 24 cents, and this time, thank God, all right, I got in at a cool little ticket. So, I'm back. I'm good. Okay. I'm happy. But like I said, not just Doge, right? Ethereum, XRP, Cardano, there's a few other things, Binance Coin. They got a bright future. Okay. But Doge especially, we got smart contracts coming up. We got a big fucking announcement from Tesla, I'm assuming. But more exchanges, obviously, more importantly, Coinbase is adding Dogecoin to their exchange, making it more accessible to people, meaning more people can buy it. And it's here to stay. It's a currency, y'all. Look, people say, oh, what the fuck is utility? You could buy something with it. In fact, you couldn't buy the Diamond Doge chains, the 1 of 3s, right? Those are motherfucking $12,000. Okay? I made everyone pay in Doge, all right? Motherfuckers had to give me 30,000 Doge coins, ranging between 27,000 and 30,000 because the market was jumping, okay? But to be honest, once folks realize, which I've already realized, that our US dollar is just shit, and pretty much most banking systems and most currency across the world in any urban country is just falling apart, folks will see the light, okay? I've mentioned this too many times. Banks just don't have the interest rates to keep up. And back in the day, you could live off your savings. Like I remember having my little savings account, like, all right, cool, I have this. And you could calculate it. Oh, well, after this time, I'll live off, the interest and this will be cool and this will accumulate. But no, not anymore. Fuck all that. Now savings accounts, interest rates, they don't even cover inflation, okay? So you got to take matters into your own hands, which brings me to this. I love hearing this shit when a stupid motherfucker says, like when I say something, be like, oh yeah, man, fuck, I got a Tesla on order. And people say, nobody asked you. Nobody asked that. Oh, really? Okay. And you say, oh, who cares? How about shut the fuck up, goofy? How about I say what the fuck I want to say, okay? If I waited to speak or only spoke when I was asked, like to speak or ask something, like no cap, I'd be broke today. Like for real, okay? Fuck all that shit. When I got something to say, I'm going to say it and I'm going to get to it. Fuck all that foreplay, all that courteous, the forward is by no, fuck all the intro to the intro, okay? If I see food and it's time to eat, I'm eating. And by that, it was a metaphor. I mean, I'm talking real shit and I'm spitting nothing but 16. I am spitting bars, okay? There's a ton of information out there that I do not volunteer. People think like, oh man, you told this, and this. What's crazy is there's a lot of shit that I don't say. I just got a lot of shit to say, okay? But if I feel like talking, I do not wait for permission, all right? If I'm out of pocket, I might ask for forgiveness, okay? But even then, I don't give a fuck. Don't be such a sensitive little bitch, all right? And if someone has something important to say, and it's more important than the shit that you got going on, put in the fucking work, all right? If you're a peon, don't talk to a king, a lord, or a boss any sort of way. Don't get smart. Motherfuckers get all ready and try to do a little, say this little cute shit and have one clap back at a 13,000 and then go back to the little fucking shitty ass apartment, driving the fucking car with the gasoline coming out of the radio, right? Like, oh, why you gotta make fun of people, man? They have no money. No, fuck that. I got no sympathy for nobody who ain't going out there and getting it. Most of the time, motherfuckers have sad stories. They really don't have a sad story. They out there expecting motherfuckers to do something for them. That ain't me. That ain't never gonna be me, okay? I don't want to repeat it 1,000 times that I worked a minimum wage job and I worked shitty jobs. That ain't never going to be me again. You want to know why? Because I done put in my dues and I'm better than that. And I'm always going to get to the money, period. All right? Don't be sensitive. Because if you're sensitive, you're just going to get bulldozed. All right? You'll get bulldozered in real life. Stop being a passenger all your life and get in the driver's seat, okay? Stop being a fan one time and get in the game. Now, damn, sorry to get y'all crazy, you know what I'm saying? Didn't even have my coffee yet, man. Speaking of game, we have a real amazing guest who's about to come on right now and bless our mics. And she's really about that action, boss. All right, so Miles, please cue in some LL and let's get Renee a proper intro. Yo, BTB Army, as you know, this is a business podcast. So here's some game to help your business run more smoothly. When running a business, HR issues can kill you. For those who don't know, HR is human resources. Wrongful termination suits, minimum wage requirements, labor regulations, and HR manager salaries aren't cheap. They're an average of $70,000 a year. That's where Bambi comes in. Bambi, spelled B-A-M-B-E-E, was created specifically for small businesses. You can get a dedicated HR manager, craft HR policy, and maintain your compliance, all for just $99 a month. That's a steal. With Bambi, you can change HR from your biggest liability to your biggest strength. Your dedicated HR manager is available by phone, email, or real-time chat. From onboarding to terminations, they customize your policies to fit your business and help you manage your employees day to day, all for just $99 a month. Month to month, no hidden fees, cancel anytime. You didn't start your business because you wanted to spend time on HR compliance. Let Bambi help. Get your free HR audit today. Go to Bambi.com/baller right now to schedule your free HR audit. That's Bambi.com/baller. Spelled B-A-M to the BEE.com/baller. BTB Army, what's good? We have a very special guest. Her name is Renee Montgomery. She is an icon. She played 11 years in the WNBA, but opted out of the 2020 WNBA season to be a catalyst for positive change. She created her Moments Equal Momentum campaign and has teamed up with More Than a Vote to tackle voter suppression in Georgia. Renee Montgomery is a broadcaster, podcaster, role model, NCAA champion at UConn, all-star and two-time WNBA champion in Minnesota, and now co-owner and vice president of the Atlanta Dream. She is a winner. Renee is the true definition of a CEO. On May 21st, Renee launched her own NFTs, so please go and cop that now. Renee, what's good? Welcome to Behind the Baller.
What's up? Okay, let me find out you giving me that professional intro. Let's go, man.
Look, most people don't even get 2 sentences. Even my homies who've done billions in business. I'm like, I had to do that for you because you just, man, you're really a spectacular person.
Nah, I appreciate that. That's all love. Like, I love when people show love, so I'm here for it.
Yeah, so let's get right into it. Look, first question. Is there anything you can't do?
Coming from the guy, like, I know you not asking, see, if this is how it's going to go, we about to have a roast each other for how good we're doing because everything you touch literally turns to gold. But nah, I mean, for me, it's just doing different things, doing things differently. I think people see how we're supposed to move as athletes. Everybody was asking me since I was young, like, all right, when you get done with the WNBA, what you going to do? You going to coach? And I'm like, why do I have to be a coach? Like, I never wanted to coach. And so for me, like that was just like, I don't want to have to tell people and hope that they do what I'm saying. And I don't know if I have the patience for that. And, I don't want to get in trouble. So I never wanted to be a coach. And so I always tell people I want to be an entertainer. And so for me, it's just doing things differently. So when you ask me what I can't do, that felt like a challenge. So I don't know, but I just like to do things differently.
Nah, for sure. So tell my followers, where did you grow up?
West Virginia. So I grew up in West Virginia where in elementary school, I was the only Black student in the building. Junior high, I think there was one other one. Shouts to Isaiah, what's good? He was in there. It was me and him. But, so I grew up in a very different, style than especially what I'm living in now here in Atlanta, which is lit. So I feel like I understand so many different cultures because I was submerged in one that just wasn't my own.
Right, right. So obviously you grew up playing basketball and everything, right? Did you ever play any other sports?
Yeah, I played soccer in high school. I really only played it though to get in shape for basketball. I got a hat trick or two, but it was just because, when you're athletic and you're fast, you can just play almost any sport. I'm sure you
No.
know that.
Yeah, for
You're a
sure.
former athlete, so throw a ball to us. We got it.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so that I would just say, but then I ran track too. I ran hurdles, but I had to stop because I hurt my ankle and I wasn't trying to mess up stuff for basketball.
Nah, for sure. So let's start up a little early, right? High school. You just said high school. So what was that like being a 3-time state champion?
It was crazy because I went to school way out of my district. Remember, I told you when I grew up, elementary school and junior high, there wasn't very many Black students in the school. Then I go to a school that's about 40 minutes away from me, and there's not very many white students in the school. And it was pretty wild because I'll never forget, I only went there for 1 year, but I'll never forget, I was at the snack machine trying to just get a little snacky, and all of a sudden I'm getting bumped, and there was a fight that broke out. But the crazy part was, one of the students was stabbing another student in the face with like a pencil.
The fuck?
And so, yeah, crazy. So imagine me coming from where I came from. I was like, oh, snap, this is kind of wild. And then all of a sudden, I got stuff on me. So they're like blood and stuff. So they're telling me, oh, yeah, you got to come to the office. Meanwhile, my friends was like, don't say nothing. I'm like, okay. Okay, so what's going on? So I had a culture shock, but it was lit because we won a championship that year. And then I transferred to another school that was closer to my district, and we won 2 more. I lost my senior year, which pretty much sucks. But yeah, so it was different because it was experiences that, like, at each point, like, a lot of people were mad that we were transferring schools because they were like, hey, this ain't even their district. They shouldn't be able to school hop. So I had to like take this baccalaureate program. So I'm in here taking the hardest classes known to man just to play basketball in high school. So that's what I think about when I think about those championships.
God, hold on. What year was that when the person got stabbed in the face with a pencil?
In my freshman year, and this is back when, like, I know now 9th grade is like freshman for most schools now. It used to be junior highs and high school. So most of the schools in my area, 10th grade started high school, and I wanted to go to high school my 9th grade year. So yeah, I was a 9th grader when that happened.
I'm saying, what year was that though? Do you know what?
Oh, 2000. So I graduated in 2005. So that had to be like 2001.
God, stabbed with a pencil. The fuck?
In the face. And that was my thoughts, in the face.
So how did you end up at UConn? What made you decide to go choose UConn?
It's crazy because, I'm from West Virginia. So imagine all of these college coaches trying to fly into our airport that has 4 terminals. It's A1, A2, B1, B2. That's all we got. And so all of these coaches are, coming in, and it was lit because I really didn't know if people would like how to get on the map being from West Virginia. New York ballers already going to have a certain level of respect, the crossover, Cali people, the shooting, the skill set. You knew that like every area college coaches was always there. West Virginia, I don't really know about that. So we started playing AAU. We started having to travel because nobody was really seeing what we were doing in West Virginia. So we started the AAU circuit, and we started winning a lot. And so all of a sudden it went from 1 or 2 college coaches around the arena to now it's like the who's of college. You see Gino Auriemma, you see Pat Summitt, rest in peace. You see Gail Guest, of course. You see all of the major Tara Vanderveer. They're all sitting courtside at our AAU games because now they trying to check out who we're playing against and us. And so it was pretty crazy because by the time I was a junior, I could pretty much pick any school in the nation to go to. And when I went on my visit to UConn, my official visit, I had all my other visits planned after that, and I canceled all of them. Like, once I went to UConn, I knew that's where I was going, and I just signed my junior year and was done with it.
Damn, that's dope. Yeah, I didn't even know. Like, I mean, it was different because obviously, well, shit, I barely. Like, I wasn't an All-American, so it was totally different. You know what I mean? I was all-state, all-city, all-conference in football, but it was a different thing, because
what position did you play?
I played left corner. I mean, I played receiver, running back in high school, but, we played 2 positions in high school. You play both ways.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I think they might be different. I'm not really sure. I don't really watch high school, but they based a TV show on Netflix, and it went to CW on my high school football team. It's called All-American.
Oh, what?
Yeah. Have you seen it? It's that black kid on there, Tay Diggs on there. Yeah, that's based on my high school. and actually my coach.
Man, that's wild.
Yeah, so it was a trip, right? So because that's just the way things were, and come on, man, you was the only black, I was the only Asian around any black people ever. You know what I mean? So around anything, it just was, there was a guy actually from around the same time I wasn't gonna make it to the pros, and I knew because I ended up having to go down to play. I wanted to play, so I played from D1. I went to D2 so I can play. There was a guy named Eugene Chung who came out of Virginia Tech. And when I think of Virginia Tech, because Nova has so many Koreans over there, I think about that crazy ass fucking, that shooting out there. I'm like, fuck all that. But he was the first Korean person to get into NFL. I forgot where he got drafted and shit. But anyways, okay, so you went to UConn. What was your relationship like with Coach Gino Auriemma? I know he's a G.
He's the OG. You know what I mean? I call him the Godfather because he got the Italian ties. I wouldn't mess with him.
No, he looks like a mafia dude. He looks like a
Listen, I felt very protected while I was there. I'll just say that. But nah, it was dope because it's crazy. People, all the other players used to always joke about like he never yelled at me. He says he was never even allowed to coach me until my senior year, which could have been true in a sense of I was really close with one of our assistant coaches and I just rocked with her. But, we had this relationship where it was like, we were on the same page, and I knew that if he told me something, it was going to happen. Like, and if I told him something, it was going to happen. And my senior year, we got so close that it was like it's just crazy when you're on the same wavelength as someone because it's like, what they're going to say before they say it. I know that everybody has a situation like that where they close with someone so much that you already know what they're going to think in certain situations. And it was like that with him. So when I was on the court, if I would come over, on a free throw and he would be like, hey, you got to remember. And I could finish his sentence. I'm like, yeah. I remember last play. Yeah, I can do that. Like, I mean, it was just like, yeah, I got you. And so it was like a proud moment. And even now, I don't even know if I could say this, but he has a master class that's coming out. And like, for him, of all the players that have played for him and him picking a couple players, and I'm one of them, to be a part of his master class to show how he's a master at coaching. That's kind of wild. Like, like that.
No, that's crazy.
So to tell you how close we were in the relationship, like, I've graduated. We had our 10-year championship anniversary or whatever, and we're still doing things together.
So, you just said your senior year, like, yo, you guys went 39-0.
Yeah.
How?
Crazy.
No, like how? How the fuck you go 39-0? Like, that's crazy.
All right, so I just told you, remember in high school, I won 3 championships, lost my senior year. So in college, it was flipped. Freshman year, sophomore, junior year, don't win nothing. We get knocked out in the Final Four. And just so people understand, when you go to UConn, people don't ask you if you've won a championship. They ask you like, yo, how many championships did you win at UConn? So I only got one more chance to win a championship. That's literally my thought process going into my senior year. So I started making everything like we were talking about, like it's championship or bust, for real, for real. And my teammates, and I had some lit teammates, Maya Moore, Tina Charles, they took it personal. They didn't want me to go out like that in the sense of being like one of the worst UConn classes ever to not win one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't want to make history the wrong way. So like that's the start of how we did it. We had that mindset going in that like my teammates didn't want me to have that reputation, and then I didn't want to go out of there without one. And it was scary literally the whole way because you don't want to be like what happened with the Warriors. You like break a record 83-9, and then you go into the tournament and they go into the playoffs and you lose. Like, don't nobody care that you was 83-9 if
they could have been undefeated.
Lost.
Nobody gives a fuck.
Like, come on, like so we undefeated. Now I'm almost even thinking like, you know what, it might even be better if we lose a game before we go to the tournament because like this is getting kind of crazy, So we go into the tournament undefeated, and it's like, all right, cool. We win our first game, but it's just that nervous energy. I mean, you're an athlete, but it's a relief when you win a championship. Like that's the first emotion. It's not even like happiness that people would necessarily think. It's like we've been grinding so long. I'm relieved. And that's like I had that nervous energy the whole time my senior year. And when we finally won, yeah, it was relief. Like it was wild.
Damn. So you finally got the NCAA chip. And where were you on draft day? Like WNBA?
New York. Yeah, we were in New York.
And do you remember, like, what's like the single thing that stands out about going number 4 that day to Minnesota?
I remember people were telling me, like, we don't know where you're going to fall. It could be number 1 all the way to number 10. We don't really know. It just depends. A lot of people are worried. Are you too small to play into the league? You know how it happens. Once you start getting to the pros, they start like analyzing every single thing about how do you jump? How tall are you? Can you shoot in this? Like, so they start breaking down all the analytics.
What's
and
their
so
basketball IQ? All that shit, man, is crazy. Like,
yeah, like, you're like now on the blocks, like the chopping blocks to like, they're breaking it down. And so I'm hearing just like, yeah, great. You had an undefeated year, but we don't know what you're going to look like in the pros. And so I remember, and this is another thing that's crazy. We win the championship game and 3 or 4 days later, I'm sitting in the draft room. That's how quick it happens for women's basketball, just so people understand. So we had the championship parade, everything within 2 days. And then I'm driving to New York from Connecticut. They sent a car service for me to go to the draft. So it's a small window. And
Jesus Christ.
yeah, it's 3 or 4 days after you win the championship game. And so I just remember thinking like, dang, I hope my parents make it because they was at the Final Four. And remember, these are regular folks. So they calling off.
Yeah.
They playing hooky. They trying to fly around and keep up with me. And I'm glad they retired now so they bosses don't know. But yeah, they having to try to figure it out because it's hard keeping up with an athlete. And so I just remember my coach saying, Coach Auriemma, he's like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it. Long story short, all of them made it and we're sitting in there. And then my second thought is, I don't want to be that athlete that's sitting in the room. I know we all seen that athlete that don't get drafted, sitting in there looking crazy. So I just know when I heard, the first pick, Angel McCoughtry, the second pick, Marissa Coleman, third pick, Christy Tolliver, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know what's going on. Like, am I really about to drop? Like, and remember, we just won a championship, undefeated season. Like, I got an award, the Nancy Lieberman Award for the best point guard in the nation. And I'm like, am I about to drop out the draft? And I heard my name at number 4, man. And it was just like, all right, let's get to work because folks really just don't know if I can make it here.
Damn, yeah. I mean, so you get in the league, right? And I'm just curious from my own personal reference, and I think the listeners, who do follow sports and stuff, right? And like, could you break it down? Like, what was it like being traded as a young player compared to later as being traded as a seasoned vet?
Well, here's what's crazy. When I went to Minnesota, when they drafted me to Minnesota, I was like, all right, let's get to work. But my second thought was like, what is Minnesota? Where is Minnesota? Like, what? Like, where am I going? Like, I don't even, like, I know nothing about Minnesota.
Right.
So I was just thinking that, like, and that's just me being honest. And so I get there and it's great. Like, it's not a bad situation, but I remember that the Connecticut coach had hit me like, yo, we're coming for you because there's a pro team in Connecticut in the WNBA. So I'm like, oh, that's what's up. Get me back to Connecticut. That's my second home. Let's go. And so the deal couldn't go through that year. So I ended up playing my rookie season in Minnesota, but I kind of knew that I was going to be in Connecticut soon. So it was like, it was a good trade. I would call that was one of the like mutually beneficial trades. Minnesota won in the deal, Connecticut won in the deal. Now, later in life, that's where it gets a little wild because I got traded from Seattle to Minnesota. I went from Connecticut to Seattle. But I got traded from Seattle to Minnesota. I got traded while I wasn't practicing with the team because I had salmonella poisoning at the time.
Oh,
so
man.
it was ridiculous. So imagine one of the team staff members coming to my house. I'm in the bed. They're knocking on the door like, hey, we need you to come in. I'm like, nah, I'm good. Coach already knows I'm sick. And they're like, nah, you need to come in. So when you hear that, you already know what's going on. So I'm like, oh, Lord. And I get there. She tells me I've been traded. She's sorry about the timing. She knows I'm really sick. She hopes it works out. I'm like, all right, bet. My next coach calls me and she's like, all right, you ready? We're excited for you. I tell her, hey, coach, I'm really sick. She's like, girl, I don't care. Get on the plane. You got 48 hours. I'm like, woo, all right. Like, so that one was tough because I had to play a WNBA game with salmonella poisoning. I'll spare you guys the graphic details, but like it tears your stomach up. So it's just like very difficult to function as an athlete with no core. So that one was more so tough because it's like you get uprooted. My family was visiting me at the time, and that ended up being a blessing because they packed up my whole condo, put it in my car, and shipped my car to me. So, man, sports is a wild thing because as fans see when their favorite athletes gets traded or something happens, man, that athlete is getting uprooted from like their whole home base, everything they know. And so, I don't know, it's a different experience when you're the athlete.
Right. So then, saying all that to say this now, like, what was it like to win a championship for the team that drafted you.
Yeah, that's crazy, right? Everything
Yeah.
comes full circle. It's crazy because I would say that's the year I got traded. So I got traded and I'm thinking, man, this sucks. I was loving Seattle. The teammates were a vibe. The city's a vibe. And then I'm all sad and I had to figure it out. We ended up winning a championship that year. We ended up getting a private concert from Prince that year, at Paisley Park. Yeah,
Damn.
this limo party van and was like, yeah, come through. We want to put on a show for you guys. And we're like, what? So we have to leave all of our phones at the door in real celebrity fashion. And they allowed us to have some reporters to come in so that they could, write about it. So there's articles written about it. But I mean, who would have thought when I was like going through it in Seattle with Salmonella that later that season, I would be dancing on stage with Prince. And that's and as we know, and that was in 2015 and in 2016, he ended up passing away. So it made it even crazier of a moment that we got to kind of have that with him.
No, it's big, man. It's big. Can you explain to people, because people don't know the business side and other side of things, right? But could you explain to the people why WNBA players, even to this day, have to play overseas in the off season?
Oh, yeah. So, the WNBA, it's our 25th anniversary. So just to put apples to apples, at this point in the NBA, we are making more money than the NBA players made in their 25th anniversary. Now, we know that they're an old league, 75 plus years. We know that. But WNBA, we don't really get the bread like that. But overseas, though, you have players making anywhere from, triple their WNBA salary to like quadruple. I mean, there's players making millions overseas, and I don't even mean like over multiple years. There's players that sign like $1 million contracts overseas, but in the WNBA, they might be getting a max salary, and this is before the new CBA, of $110,000. And so if you know that you're making $110,000 the whole WNBA season, of course you're going to go overseas where you can make $300,000, $400,000, even up to $1 million playing for a team overseas. And so usually when presented that option, WNBA players, yeah, we take it and we go overseas and you play for somebody different every year. I played in Russia for 4 or 5 years. That's my favorite place to play because they are about their business. They put you in a nice condo. You have a driver at all times. Like if I went to McDonald's at 2 a.m., calling my driver, he's going to be out there in 10 minutes. Like it's that type. Yeah, it's that type of lifestyle over there in Russia, and they pay well. So a lot of people, they wonder why go if you can play in the WNBA, but they cutting some checks overseas.
Nah, for sure. You know what I mean? I was going to tell you a little experience I had, but you know what? This is about you, not about me.
No, I want to hear it. I told you, I already said before we started, you lived 1,000 lives.
No, it was 100. Just,
you said 1,000.
So, in football, we lost our program my junior year. So, because I transferred to a D2 school. Well, because one, I knew I wasn't going to go to pros. I wasn't going to go. So I was like, look, I love film, and the cinematography department there is amazing. Nicolas Cage's dad is the dean of my film school, and his brother is obviously the famous director ever, The Godfather, Francis Ford Coppola. They're based in San Francisco. So I was like, look, I could go to film school here. I know it's not D1, but I'm going to go play. So when I was playing football, I walked onto the basketball team. So I was the first Asian American to ever play basketball and football in my university's history. So every preseason, we play 3 D1 teams. Obviously USF because it's right across the city. Played against like Howard, random people, Washington State. But every year we played against Santa Clara. So 2 years in a row I got to guard Steve Nash, right? So it's like kind of cool things. But when it was done, I was like, you know what? People are going and overseas was like a new thing. So I was like, all right, well, back then, go to China, you're getting 35,000. The seasons are real short, get to play. So I went out there. First month, I was like, yo, I can't fucking be here. I just got hella sick. And the food is like, like breakfast is like 30 cents. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm good. Like, so it wasn't for me. Do you know what I'm saying? There was no, like, you go now and it's luxurious and whatever. It wasn't the Stephon Marbury treatment. You feel me? So.
Oh, yeah, no, he runs it over there.
Yeah, it was different. Now, back to the WNBA salaries and stuff. Do you think that's ever going to change? So y'all can get at least like girls can get, $600,000 on a low end. You know what I mean? Millions to the, it's got to, right?
Yeah, no, I do. I mean, you got to think about even now the NBA players are making $200 million contracts. That's directly because of the TV contract they signed. So you sign a big TV deal and the money trickles down. And so with the WNBA, it's about signing those big deals. It's about getting to where all right, ESPN got to cut a big check because they have a certain percentage of games. And now TNT want to do the same, CBS Sports. It's about once we start getting those bigger deals, that's where the money comes from. It's not, a lot of people talk about attendance and different things like that. Nah, the money is in these brand deals and these sponsorship deals or these company deals where if you're paying $1 billion to the NBA, well, now the players are making 200 million, so it's coming. I mean, and it's coming faster than people think. We're in a new CBA where players are now making 220,000. So the max doubled, but yeah, obviously it's not where it's at. We're still flying regular commercial flights. We don't want to do that because at UConn, we took all private flights. So I went from literally in college, we're taking private flights everywhere to where you go to the WNBA and it's commercial. But I get it because they can't afford, like if you can't afford it as a league, you can't afford it. But it's a different type of experience to go from, we were taking chartered flights everywhere. I don't care where we was going. We was taking a private flight. And now we're, with the WNBA, they're not.
Damn. Well, okay, so you were talking about West Virginia, where you came from and everything, right? And you're talking about Atlanta is lit for you, right? Boom. So since signing a multi-year deal with the Atlanta Dream, how has the city of Atlanta embraced you?
Man, it's crazy because I've lived in Atlanta since the second year I was a pro. So I've had my house in Atlanta probably 10, 11 years now. Started out in Marietta and I was like, man, this is too far out. I need to be in action. So I moved down towards the city to Buckhead and I'm like, all right,
I love Buckhead. Yeah, no, I hear you.
Yeah, so I'm in the thick of things, but I would have never guessed, it's crazy because I told you I grew up in West Virginia. And side note, growing up in West Virginia, while I was submerged in, a different culture, my parents went to an HBCU where they met. My mom was teaching at an HBCU for 30 plus years. My sister went to that same HBCU. So I knew Black excellence, what it looked like. And so when I came to Atlanta, I was like, oh, baby, I'm home. That's kind of how I felt.
Right.
It's lit. It's women that are running the show down here for real, like Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms, a lot of the big business people in Atlanta are Black women. And I'm like, yo, this is crazy. And so I really leaned into that. I'm like, yo, y'all doing stuff. Y'all are killing it. When I opted out in 2020, that's where I really feel like the city was like, yo, we got you. Cause I opted out and I was just like, yo, I don't have a plan, but I don't like what I'm seeing. I don't like what's going on. So I want to do something about it. And so that's when I really think the city kind of stood with me.
Right. Did you ever have any interactions with Kelly Loeffler?
Beforehand, yeah. She was our team owner. So she would be at the game. She would be sitting courtside half the games, so we didn't have in-depth conversations. But when I saw her, as we were warming up or something, I would say yo, what's up, boss? We would have those type of interactions.
Right. Okay. So what kind of changes have you been pushing for since opting out of the league in 2020?
I mean, it's more so, it's not even the changes for me is we got to change the way we think, because if we think what we see is okay, if we think because I knew things were bad, but it was just when all these things was happening during the pandemic and I had to sit still. Normally I'm taking 4 flights a week, I'm on the go. I'm calling ESPN games. I'm calling different games all the time. And so I'm traveling a lot, but we all kind of had it shut down in the pandemic and I'm watching the news and I'm seeing the protests literally outside my window. And I'm like, yeah, it's time to turn up. I don't know. It was just the fact that it's 2020. Why are we still dealing with this? That's more so what it was. And so the change that I was thinking was, I think that, we can't protest. We can't be mad and talk all this noise on Twitter and not do something about it. And so I'm like, everybody got to get to the polls. We got to get new people in places because that's the problem. And so that was the changes I want to see. A lot of people don't, people would literally tell me, oh, sis, I'm not really into that voting stuff. But do you, though? I love what you're doing.
Damn,
and I would be like,
I hate that shit, man.
Yeah. I'm like, yo, if you really want stuff to change, all the policies literally are in politics. We ain't into politics and you can see why we don't like what's going on. And so, I don't even like politics. If I'm being honest,
Shit,
I'm
I don't
not
either.
You know what I mean? I'm not into politics, but I felt we got to all be into politics a little bit at this point because it's getting wild out here. So that's kind of what I want to, it's just all education based. That's everything. I'll be wanting to people if you know better, people I think will do better. So I'll be wanting people to know better.
Right. So then how did the summer of 2020 change your life?
2020 changed everybody's life, man. I'm not gonna lie, like it was like, I mean, think about all the stuff that was going on. We had a pandemic, and then we had like a race war going on. Sports stopped multiple times. Like that's never happened. I mean, that changed everything. I know a lot of people thought, the pandemic stopped the NBA, which was crazy. My baby was singing at the Hawks game that day, so I was there at the last game before the pandemic hit. And then a lot of people thought, all right, nothing else would stop the NBA. But then they sat out for racism. Like, that's wild. If you think about sports, if people know how sports is a business, I know a lot of people are naive and they think like, oh, it's just a game. Sports is like the biggest business ever. Like, it's business. Everything they do is business motivated. So think about racism stopping a big business is wild. And so I just could see things was changing. I mean, athletes were starting to be like, all right, we're not worried about these sponsorships if what we say is going to mess up our endorsements, because that's usually why athletes were quiet before. People don't know. Like, you just kind of don't say anything because you don't want to rub your ownership wrong, or you don't want to rub your sponsors wrong. You don't want to lose your check. And it was just kind of like athletes were like, nah, this is it. That's enough of that. And everybody just started saying how they felt. And I was right along in that bunch talking noise. I was on that Kyrie call, that infamous Kyrie call that everybody talked about. I heard your favorite athlete arguing, not even arguing, but talking to your other favorite athlete about how can we create the most change. They were like, we got a lot of money. What can we do with it? I'm like, this is crazy conversations I'm hearing. And so like all of that going on just like made me realize like athletes have a lot of influence. And so how do you want to use it? That's kind of how I started thinking.
It's funny, and this was not part of the interview at all. Just you made me think about something, and I decided to avoid it. Sometimes I'm like, look, I'm never going to be the bigger man. Me, never. I'm the pettiest motherfucker, So I got into it the other day with a dude who's worth almost like $1 billion, right? Powerful, white supremacist type dude. I have no problem saying that. I've done enough research and to say that comfortably. But like, there were certain things, and just by coincidence, an hour, maybe less than an hour before, I had talked about, I got brand partnerships with Remy Martin, Snickers, this, the Dodgers, Lakers, boom. You tell me who else is doing this in a minority space of just never being from this type of world, like blah, blah, blah. So I get into argument with this dude. We started talking shit, boom, I delete the tweets because I'm like, yo, man, fuck this, whatever. And I wasn't delete because I was scared, but it was more so like, I was like, you know what, man, it's stupid. Fuck it, I don't want it in the universe. Great, you little cornballs fucking screenshotted it. But then they hit one of my major corporate sponsors, and it was a major, enormous, huge American brand. So my agent hits me and he goes, hey, man, we're going to be in a situation like this. And I was like, look, this is the situation I'm in. Now, look, I know I might have been petty and said what I said, but check this out. This is my situation. So he's a little worried about it. I'm with an enormous sports agency. I'm with Excel Sports Management. They represent 15% of the fucking NBA. Derek Jeter, Tiger Woods. It's a big agency. I'm one of 3 people who are not professional players, athletes that are represented by them. So,
yeah, you be getting some wild athletic type deals. Yeah. I will say that. It'd be like, he's partnering with who? Like, it's the wildest deals.
I mean, just think, haven't ever been a pro. I have NFL, NBA, and now MLS endorsements. You know what I mean? I'm in the NBA 2K game like that. But so I call my agent. I don't wait for him to call me back. He's like, we got to find out what's up. The attorneys are talking. I'm like, over some tweets? And I get it. I was like, you know what? Check this out. So I called back. I said, peep game, check this out. I'm about to refund the money. And he's like, Ben, it's a lot of money. I said, I know how much it is. I know it's a lot of money. Guess what? I'm going to return the money. I'm going to go on the podcast and I'm going to tell them, fuck them. And anybody who don't believe what the fuck I believe in, fuck this check. Because you know what, dog? I'm not about to let this fucking dude be on some fucking, like, just really be on some Trump type shit to it. No, I'm like, nah, I'm cool. And he's like, Ben, relax. No, check it out. Look, I was like, no, listen, you guys are trying to threaten me to act a certain way. And I get it. I'm not telling people, hey, go kill kids, go rob people. I'm not saying that. I stood up against a dude who's a known racist, against not just people, but I'm talking about, he said some crazy outlandish shit about Asians or whatever. Fuck this dude. So if they want to take away my paper because of that and they're scared, fuck them. And
see, that's the exact dilemma. Like, you literally described the exact dilemma that athletes typically, like, if you are wondering why an athlete doesn't speak up, that's why. Like, because that will people will want to cut off the check, I should say, and like try to stop how you moving. Like, that's crazy.
But so we worked it out. And they're like, nah, let's everything calm down. Let's just push the release about a week back. I was like, all right, cool. Because look, man, I ain't playing that shit no more. Like, and I know that can help, just like, I want my kids to be good, whatever. I'm just like, look, but at the same time, like, y'all don't rock with me, man, then fuck out of here,
I mean, that's what you got to get to, that mode where it's just like you good with or without whoever's money. Like that's kind of how you're going to be straight anyway. But I mean, as an athlete,
I'm just saying though,
No, but as an athlete, that's a decision athletes legit be having to make. Like, all right, do I want this money or not? Or should I just let these tweets fly? Like, and in 2020, athletes was letting it fly. I mean, James Harden was like, I'm out. Like, he wasn't even fooling with Houston. He was like, I'm out. Like, athletes really just started to be like, it's a wrap.
Cool. So let's pivot. You're a hero to so many people. I just started realizing more talking to Paul. By the way, shout out to PG.
Shouts to my VP, Paul.
So, how has your life changed since becoming an owner?
It's different, man. I'm going to tell you what was crazy. I received like 4 bottles of Dom as congratulations. I ain't never had Dom before in my whole life. And I'm like, oh, so is this is the world I'm living in now? So that was different because It's like, yeah, it's like just the gifts were different. The people I'm talking to, regularly talking to millionaires, that's different. I mean, and it's weird because I have a lot of athlete friends who are millionaires, but it's different when you're talking to like them business moguls that are millionaires and you're having different type of conversations. Deals you're talking about are bigger. It's just everything is on a different scale. And so for me, it was interesting because I had done, I really am very hands-on with my deals already. So even when we're negotiating, like I just negotiated one deal for myself. Like I just feel like very I like to talk about it and tell people so they know how I feel, what I want, what they want. And so this is just the same thing, but it's just on a way bigger scale. But, for me, it's lit. I wanted to be in these rooms. I want to be talking about these deals. Like we need to be doing different things that these NBA teams are doing with influencers. And so that's where I'm at. Like, that's kind of the world I wanted to be in. But it's crazy when you're living that at 34. That's what's really crazy.
It's amazing. So pivot again. How are you enjoying being a podcaster, right? You got 2 shows, Remotely Renee, and then you got Take Line. Like, what are those shows about so that my listeners could understand? And I want all you guys to subscribe to both of her shows. I'm not playing with y'all. Listen, you need to subscribe to both their shows. But how do you like podcasting?
Yeah, podcasting is different. I don't know why we even call it podcasting anymore. These are TV shows at this point.
They are.
There's whole productions. I just literally had content day today, and I interviewed like 3 or 4 people today, and that's what I do for my TV show WNBA Weekly on NBA TV. The same thing we do at TMZ Sports, where I'm a co-host. So it's like I got more shows, but podcasting is dope because it's like this world, it's digital TV shows, and so people are not really fooling with. I don't even have cable, so just to be honest, I don't have cable. I'm a subscriber. I got the subscriptions, Netflix, Hulu, all of that. So that's me. But a lot of people are like me, and so this podcast world, there's money there. There's sponsors there. It's like you create a show on whatever you want to create it on. So for Remotely Renee, it's just like a lot of people ask me like my life and how things work. So my manager, Paul Garino, he's on Remotely Renee. He's a co-host. My sister, Nicole Young, she's a co-host. My mom is on there. And anybody knows moms have that's a different generation. So they say whatever they want to say when they want to say it. And that's just how they feel. So I knew she had to be on the show so she could talk her talk. And it's just, we talk sports. We talk a lot about sports business, like deals that athletes are making out here, I don't even know if it's just like, I hope this stuff isn't a secret that I'm saying to you, but I just linked up with a company called Buzzer, and there's a lot of athletes that invested along with me. And it's like crazy. Like these athletes is making some huge business moves. I'm looking at what they invested. I'm like, I got to get my paper up. First of all, like this is all I can do this time, but catch me next round. But it's athletes is out here making some like major money moves and companies and stuff. So we talk a lot about that on Remotely. And then for Take Line, we talk a lot about that social aspect of athletes. Like, what are they standing for? What happened the stuff that you wouldn't be able to talk about on a sports show on network television, that's kind of what we're talking about on Take Line on our show, because it's where sports and culture meet. So it's pretty cool. I'm submerged in the sports world, been an athlete my whole life. And so now one is like more sports business and one is like for the culture.
Nah, nice. That's what podcasting, I came in like, all right, okay, cool. We're going to do this. We ain't going to talk about jewelry. That's why it's behind the baller. You know what I'm saying? It's me as a dad, me as a husband, but as a businessman and how I've, pivoted and done different things and as an entrepreneur and, what kind of free game can I share with my listeners and things like that. So trust me, I never in a million years.
People don't still think you're just a jeweler, right? Like, I mean, I would hope,
some
I
people.
hope that's not a thing. Like, people ain't crazy, are they?
Like when people are like wondering like, hey, wait a second. This guy has his own little mini fridge. He has a barbecue grill. He has this, and this. And you were talking about Dom Perignon. I did a collaboration. I have a Ben Baller Dom Perignon bottle. Like I've done so many different collabs. But like at the same time, I just felt like, yo, look, why not? Fuck it. I'm proud that my kids are like, yo, hey, I know that logo. I'm proud of my kids to see me on a 15-foot billboard of my face. I'm like, hey, daddy, it's you. I'm proud for them. You know what I mean? Because, there's just not a lot of yellow people on the walls and TVs, unless it's like martial arts and it's the same bullshit. I'm like, bro, I don't even do motherfucking karate. What the fuck is you talking about, man? But
man, you are a wild man, but you're right. There is not that representation.
I'm being dead ass serious, man. My parents don't own no fucking liquor store. Never had no laundromat or no manicure. I'm just being real. Like, look, I've been me and I've always been me, right? And I've always, and it's cool. And I'm at the end of my run. I'm ready to just be really, because I got my personal life, my fatherhood started late with me, right? My wife is 11 years younger than me, and like, I just want to be a full-time dad. I want to raise them, want to do whatever they want, I don't think my son's going to be an athlete, even though he's tall for his age and whatever, but like, it's cool. Whatever's going to make him happy. I don't want to push him too hard or whatever. I just love being a dad. And that's why, I wanted to share that, in my podcast.
That's goals. Like, I hope, and that's not corny. Like, I know how y'all be saying washed. Y'all taking back the Washed Chronicles. That's goals. Like, what? Like, that's like the legit goals. Make enough money that you can retire and basically be with the fam and just live your best life. Come on now.
Yeah, no, for sure. So we got the NBA playoffs going on right now. You know what I'm saying? I did see that you're broadcasting for these NBA playoffs. And you know what? The couple times that I've seen you on when I'm catching random games here and there, look, I know a lot of people, obviously, right? I'm friends with Shaq we've been friends for almost 30 years. I've known, I know a bunch of the broadcasters. I don't really get hype. But when I seen you talking, I took screen. I was like, oh shit, they're going Renee on TV. Cool, So
let's go.
Are you excited for your Hawks? Like, do you think they can make it out of the East?
Listen. The Hawks haven't been to the playoffs in a minute. Everybody knows. And what irony, neither have the Knicks. So it's like the butt of every joke. We see the Atlanta sports jokes all the time, the Falcons and the Hawks, and we get it. But it's lit because I actually think that, like, this is the first year, but I think that, first of all, every ESPN analyst picked the Knicks. What is going on over there at ESPN? Secondly, I think that we haven't been healthy all season. So it's going to be lit to see our team come together. All of the pieces that we got in the offseason that people said we paid too much money for, and then Bogey is having like the best career year of his life. Crazy. Yeah, it's going to be exciting, man. I'm all the way Atlanta, so I'm biased. And I know I'm biased in this case, but in my unbiased analyst role, I really do think that the Hawks will like win in 7. Nothing crazy, but we're going to win in 7, I think.
Okay, shit. There it is. And as we pivot for the final time, how did you come up with the idea and the design for your NFT? I just saw it. Paul sent it to me. That shit is fire.
Listen, congrats to your NFTs too. I saw you dropped yours, that gold, the gold drip all over it. Like, this is just what you do, but I see what you be doing with your stuff. Listen, I just thought about, and this is real talk and no shade to the other people, even though it's just, I saw that a lot of people were releasing NFTs, but it looked like it was rushed, or it looked like there could have been more built out to it. And so I'm like, all right, we should do our own, and I'm gonna make it like lit things and things that happen in my career. So I have one that I've won 6 championships in my career. So I have a 6 rings one. And then my opt-out tweet that kind of changed my whole life. That's one. I hold the record in the WNBA for most threes made in a half. So boom, we had to make one for that. uh, my retirement. That was a moment. Everybody, no one saw that coming. Made that an NFT. So I did my starting 5. I had my jerseys, Moments Equal Momentum jerseys out here. So we did 5 big moments in my career, in my life to this point. We called it my starting 5. Hello, basketball. And we're not re-releasing them. So I want to tell people that too, because it's not going to be one of those things where it gets watered down. Like the starting 5 is coming out one time only. We're not adding other ones to it. We have some 1 of 1s. We have some 1 of 11s for 11-year pro career that I have. We have 1 of 21s when it comes to the jersey, and that's my jersey number. But man, I'm just trying to see something. I see a lot of people supporting male sports, and they say because they like different styles, they like the dunking, and the women aren't doing that. But when it comes to this NFT stuff and this digital stuff, I want to see people support it. Like, I want to see what they think about it. Like, judge it by how it looks. We got international designers that got down on these and worked it out. So I want to see. I just want to see what it's about. Like, I want to get your real opinion too. Have you already seen them?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I mean, they're fire, and it took me a very long time to get mine going and to incorporate one thing to make it make sense with my partner Nick, who I collab with. And I was like, look, dog, I need like this ball to be regulation side, need to be dripping in gold. I got a lot of things going on. Boom. Fuck this. How long is it going to take us to make some tangible items? And what they call in the NFT world would be an unlockable item, meaning you actually, because it's digital, but I wanted to hand people a tangible item. So I was like, can we call Spalding? Because I was about to do a deal with Wilson and then do a deal with Spalding, get my own, Ben Baller did the ball. And I was like, no, fuck this. For the NFT, we going to do gold balls. You know what I mean? I had to look at the texture. I wanted to look at the exact Pantone color. I'm like, yeah, this is yellow gold. This looks like gold. So, thank you. And I like it, but this is about you. So, by the time this podcast airs, right, it'll be out. So what platform is the NFT dropping on?
Yeah, it's on OpenSea. And yeah, we're going to do an auction, and yours, you had that drip. I just, like, for me, this is a new endeavor. I'm in the crypto world, got crushed, part of the Doge gang, Doge army, whatever's happened.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Oh, you good. And so I was just, like, I'm new in this whole tech crypto world, but I like it. And I like to see where it's going.
Nah, we're good. Listen, I want to tell you something real quick.
Tell me.
In my last episode I just dropped, like most episodes I do, but I break it down. Like, look, Doge is good. I'm telling you, we really have a really bright future with smart contracts coming up. Coinbase is about to list it. A couple more exchanges are listing it. Tesla is going to make a very big announcement soon because Elon's been working with the Dogecoin developers for almost 2 years now, and there's some good things. So I'm glad the Doge community is also a very positive, good community too. So it's great.
Love to see it. We love to see it. So that's why I said I hopped up on one of their Twitter spaces. I don't even know what I'm talking about yet, but they were so welcoming. I'm like, okay, it's lit here in these crypto streets. So yeah, I'm just trying to do some things that are different, man. You just don't see a lot of athletes doing different things. And so I'm trying to step out of, how you was like, I don't want to just be jewelry. Like, so I'm trying to step out of that sports only space and be business, be crypto, be tech. And so this is the first steps.
Well, Renee, I really do thank you for coming on here. The last question that I ask every single guest that's ever been on this show is there anything that you'd like to ask me?
Oh my gosh, I like that. Can I ask like a 2-part question?
You could ask a 2-part question, whatever you feel like.
All right, do you think that you can make anything hot? Like, so if somebody brought you any product, even if it's not the best product, do you think you can make anything go?
I mean, there are points in times where, yes, I'm on fire and I feel like, look, you could bring me some used toilet paper rolls and we just gonna make this shit sell out. Like, I don't know, I have a really loyal fan base, which is great. I pick and choose what I'm gonna do. A lot of people propose, they hit me up with ideas like, hey, would you like to collab with us with this, and this? I'm like, and to be honest with you, probably 95% of the time I say no, because I'm very critical about what's going on, because with the youth today, they're like, oh, 26, you old. Oh, 30? Oh, man, you washed up. I'm just saying, the way, how these kids, the young rappers and things and whatever. And it's like, look, I'm ancient compared to that. And each year that's gone by, I've become more relevant. So with that said, I'm very, very picky about what I do choose to attach to my namesake and my brand. So, yes and no. I don't know. It's kind of, so what's the second part of the question then?
The second part of the question is, can we do a collab down the line? Like when it makes sense. Like it don't have to be right now because I'm all about when things make sense. But I would like to do a collab because I see that we're in the same spaces for different things, but I would want it to be something crazy different, like not something regular.
So let me tell you something real quick. So I've done some amazing collaborations. I've done some that were cool too. And one recent one I did with Remy Martin. And, they're a great cognac brand. They're big and everything. And they were like, hey, listen, we want to do a keys to the city type thing. We want to make these things. And I made these iced out keys, right? And I made them look more vintage style. They weren't like new modern. And they asked me, they're like, hey, can you pick 2 cities? And I was like, of course you're going to want me to pick LA. So you don't have to pick LA and boom. But I was like, but is LA an option? It wasn't really. They were kind of leaning towards Chicago. And I was like, look, fuck it. It is what it is. It's like, okay, well, give me one city that you want to do. And everyone thought I was going to say Seattle or New York.
Uh-huh.
And I chose Atlanta.
Come on.
And they were like, okay, so, when I printed on the key, I think back to like the early 90s when, it was called Hotlanta, and I made an Atlanta key. And I was like, yo, because the people there, the food, everything, what's going on there, they're really their own bubble. Like one thing I see about ATL people, they support each other. If you think of T.I., Big Boy, and, all the rappers, Outkast and whatever, 2 Chainz, all Atlanta people are kind of like, they're really like, in a fraternity. If they're from different parts of Atlanta, they're all, they're all cool with each other. So with that said, and I know it's your home, you're not from there, but what I'm saying is, look, 1, in short, the answer, yes, fuck yes. 2, I just would love to figure out, because you do so many things that are so positive. And me, I'm kind of like, not saying I don't do positive things. I have charities I don't even speak about, and I have nonprofits that I do. I just do it because I do it. It's funny because you would think like, okay, well, shit, Ben brags about the being a car enthusiast or diamonds, whatever. But I'm just like, yo, that's cool and everything, but I don't ever really brag about the charity stuff because I feel like, yo, I'm just doing it. So whatever it is, I feel like creative wise, I definitely would love to input everything. But the overall general collab, I think if you came up with something really dope and I feel like you have a lot of ideas, I'd be with it. And sure, 100%, I'm in.
Lit. I don't even have an idea yet, but now that you gave me the green light, I'll think on that because that's dope. Yeah, like let's do something positive for the community. I'm with it. All right, Ben, listen, thank you for having me on here for real, because it's a vibe.
No, thank you. This was a fucking amazing interview, and I appreciate it. You're welcome to come back anytime. And Paul, thank you for making the connection. All right, guys, we'll be right back. Yo, Miles, man, throw on some Lakey Lake real quick. And yes, sir, back with more BTB shortly. Yo, Bay Area, especially those who smoke weed. If you do not know, now you know. Tomorrow, May 25th, from 5 to 7 p.m., I am finally dropping my Ben Baller Did the Strain weed collection. Okay, finally. I'm dropping at Cookies in Hayward. Yes, your boy, the Korean Chris Mullen, will be in the stack 510 weapon. Okay, I will have giveaways. If you DM me on Instagram and we're in that first 50, then you're good. You got free giveaways and merch and everything. Some fire shit. I got collect and select coming through and everything. Got all kinds of people pulling up. Famous TikTokers and all types of shit, okay? We will have some light refreshments, but more importantly, of course, we are going to have music and fire ass, dank ass weed, okay? You already know we got that Cat Dick, that Jonas B. And, you know, some people are like, yo, man, why you got the Bay before LA? Like, what's good? We're going to drop the Cookies Melrose, Cookies Maywood, and in San Diego and all that other shit. But understand, I got my first start officially with that real indica, that raw dog, that real ooh-wee shit. That shit started with me in NorCal, okay? And my farm is in NorCal. So, you know, it just makes sense. You know I got love for the Bay, okay? So this is where we are going to launch my motherfucking weed. Do you got a problem? Okay, well then talk to management, all right? And then after they tell you to go suck a dick, I need you to go to Nations in El Cerrito, get me a thick shake and a coconut cream pie. Anyways, I'm just fucking with you. Yo, listen, don't forget to tap in tomorrow with your partner, all right? 5 to 7 p.m., Tuesday night, tomorrow night in the city of Hayward at Cookies Hayward. All right, shout out to my Cookies family. Shout out to that whole motherfucking family. All my shit burner, motherfucking Kenny Powers, and the whole nine. Speaking of the Bay, I'm real happy to be here right now. You know, vibrations hella unmatched. Looking at the crazy ass view right now. I see the Bay Bridge. I see the motherfucking Salesforce Tower, all that shit. I got to speak at SF State soon a little bit. But before I do, sidebar. I need to get my college basketball coach, Coach Thomas, on BTB. That was just a fucking weird sidebar. Anyways, the Warriors are out of the playoffs. They've been eliminated. And I'm like, tell you the truth, I'm kind of surprised. I'm shook. Like, you got Steph doing all these trick shots and all this other crazy shit, dancing around, fucking around here and there. And it's like, you do all this shit and like, you don't win. So like, what good was it, right? I'm just saying, like, I don't know, man. That's like some shit that I do. Like, I'll fuck around, clown here and there, boom, and get eliminated. Like, like these motherfuckers should know better. Be like, oh, they weren't expecting to go this far. Fuck all that bullshit. They was playing their ass off, boom, and they fucking lost. Jaw called game. And I'm kind of bummed out because I was going to try to see a Warriors game while I'm out here. Anyways, Jaw called game on them. And then he called game last night against the number one team in the West. I'm like, shit. But a lot of games yesterday. It was fucking fire-ass day for basketball, except my Laker game. That shit was, if you're a Suns fan, I guess it was cool. But even if I'm not a fan, like, I can judge, what a game is like. And I felt like that game was all right, whatever. But bottom line, my Lake show just could not sink a shot. They just couldn't sink shots yesterday. At a certain point, they play D to doing certain things. But, the Suns played better, like straight up, okay? And I think the Suns played their best. How about that? But there's a reason why the Lakers are favored to win this series in Las Vegas, okay? There's a reason why the betting odds makers made the Lakers a favorite. And this is the first time that a 7th seed was favored over a 2nd seed. So just let that simmer in for a little bit, okay? Lakers, we got fools that got hurt. And that's just what happened. We should have been number 2, 3 seed, whatever. This is what happened. We ended up in motherfucking 7. Fuck it. Did the play-in tourney and all that shit, okay? But that Knicks game, though, okay, shit was popping in the Garden, all right? MSG was super cracking. And damn, man, all that to get that L and that loss hurt. Like, I fuck with the Knicks. I ain't tripping, like, I don't know, man. But I bet Renee was geek, what I'm saying? She's fucking obviously in Atlanta, not necessarily, she's not a native, as we said, but she's ATL repping. But the part that fucked me up more than Alec Burks acting like he was fucking Allen Houston. I thought he was Allen Houston. What the fuck was going on? The thing that fucked me up the most about that Knicks game was the vaccinated section seats at MSG versus the non-vaccinated section. Like, wow. If that's the case, Staples Center, get that shit crap. Fuck that 35 shit. Put 15,000 in that bitch, okay? Because I might have to cash in on them floor seats for the playoffs here at Staples. You know what I'm saying? Like, Jimmy Iovine, what's good? You know what I'm saying? Like, I need them motherfuckers. Like, the seats that I have, whatever, I'm saving my floor seats for, like, different, like, when we can motherfuckers show it kicks off and all that type of shit. But, of course, this weekend was slow for me, due to my toe still being broken. It's not getting better anytime soon, right? So Friday night, I take a shower and, I get it real full of shower in. I take the buddy tape off, boom, here and there. And when I get out, of all fucking things, of all places and everything, I hit the same broken, fractured pinky toe against the fucking bathroom door. Okay. And I screamed. I had to sit down butt naked with a towel kind of covering me on my bed. And I cried literally for 20 fucking minutes. Okay. I actually called fucking urgent care and I was like, look, hey man, like this is the situation. I almost had to go back to the fucking ER. It was that bad. Right. And the doctor who examined me, she was like, hey, it's 6 to 8 weeks. I would say a little sooner, but You fucked your shit up again. We'll see what happens. And so I found some cream I could put. I'm trying to get some acupuncture today here in Chinatown. And I don't know, man. I really hope I didn't fuck it up because, that's going to fuck up my whole Cabo shit. And I'm just trying to get better. Okay. Anyways, I just chilled at the crib. I couldn't go to Legoland with my family. So my wife brought her parents. And, my wife and kids went to Legoland. They had a lit time. Sad to not go, but, I got to chill at the crib and kind of collect my thoughts, get some computer work done. The homie Scott pulled up on me. That would be AKA Kid Cudi. So Kid Cudi pulled up to the crib and he pulled up with a pound of Skywalker OG. This motherfucker pulls up with like a $5,000 LV backpack, pulls out a pound. Like, you ever seen what a pound looks like in like a plastic bag? Like, pulled out a pound of Skywalker OG Kush. And we smoked until the both of us was passed out. Ordered some motherfucking Postmates and was passed the fuck out. We watched that new movie, Army of the Dead. That shit was high-key fire, right? I definitely recommend. And then I got some videos of Cudi's new Bape X, Cudi X G-Shock on my Instagram Reels. I posted it on my Instagram Reels. And it got 1 million views. Okay? I have only posted 5 Reels since that Reels option came out, which is kind of like the fake TikTok, right? Like, ever since Reels has come out, I don't know when it was, but I've only posted 5 Reels total. And I think those 5 were this year. Like, I'm trying to just kind of fuck with it. But this was the first time that one of my Reels hit a million, million views. I know some of y'all, fuck you guys. All right. Anyways, Saturday, while Cudi's passed out, I was channel surfing and I came across $1 Million Listing New York. Shout out to my boy, Ryan Serhant. I'm actually doing his podcast. I did it, but I guess it's airing later. I don't know what the fuck, whatever. Anyways, random as hell that I see my boys, Mark Jacobs and Char. Yes, that Mark Jacobs, right? And they're on there selling their house. And Char shouts me out on the fucking show. Like, real talk, my name, boom, Ben Baller, 22 karat diamond grills. And I was like, what the fuck? Yes, Shar is a motherfucking man, showing off his expensive ass grills. If you ever get to meet Shar, don't think he's like a shy dude or anything. For the first time, he just don't talk that much because his conversation is very expensive. I'm just fucking with you guys. Anyways, Sunday, I watched NBA all day, ate barbecue. My fucking wife came into the room. Me and Ryder were sleeping. And they got back late Saturday night. Wife was asleep. Wake me up at fucking 6 in the morning. I went to bed on a fucking Saturday at like 1 or 2 in the morning. And I'm like, what the fuck? Wake up to a cramp. Like the worst cramp. My fucking calf. I couldn't even move. And I'm like, what the fuck? She's videotaping and shit. Happy birthday, Ryder. Da da da. He's like, oh, I have to shit, whatever. But yeah, we got barbecue from this place in Burbank called Ribs USA. No carbs still. By the way, no carbs. I'm on that Cabo diet. I got to get them fucking Amiri swim trunks on. I'm down 8 pounds so far. I got about 14 pounds to go. I'm very proud of myself. Very, very proud of myself. And, but yeah, have you seen that picture of Bill Gates? Like in the last 48 hours, what Bill Gates looked like? That motherfucker looked like me right now. Oh, he looked like me 2 weeks ago. Anyways, Ryder's birthday was real chill. We had all the family here. My mom pulled up, whatever, and had, Ryder's best friend came and they're vaccinated too. So that was kind of cool. You know what I mean? He got to see his best friends and it was real chill. Last year, he was so depressed. It was a totally different story this time. We got him some Robux. He got some clothes. Fear of God sent him to fly shit. House of JR sent him some shit. We got him a Doge t-shirt. He got his very first PC. He got a gaming PC laptop, like an HP shit lit. It was really nice. We made him a custom Dogecoin cake. And by the way, the cake was actually delicious. How did I know? Because I took a fucking bite. You judgmental fucking pricks. Okay? Don't you know it's bad luck not to have a taste of your kid's B-Day cake? But anyways, yo, man, my son turned 7. It fucked me up. Ryder says the craziest shit. He's literally a mirror image of me with personality and everything. And it's just crazy, man. I love that boy so much. I love all my kids. That's why I go so hard in life. But yo, that is all the time we got today, BTB Army. Sorry, but yeah, I got to do some meetings here in the city. And I can't wait to meet any BTB Army listener that comes up to me tomorrow and says, I heard your podcast episode. And just say, Chupapi Muñeño. Say chupapi muñeño to me tomorrow if you see me, and I'm going to give you something, okay? I will see you guys at Cookies Hayward tomorrow. Do not forget to buy my Tatis card, okay? Oh, yeah. My gold Kingsford barbecue grill is pushed back a week or so. It is now dropping in early June. We are Gucci. Don't trip. It's going to sell the fuck out. It is the craziest fucking item I've ever come out with. But yo, mad love to all my listeners. Please subscribe. If you're listening to this right now, just hit that subscribe button. It helps me out tremendously, okay? And it helps me get more fire guests on the show. And it also helps Miles and Jordan, aka the Dust Brothers. Speaking of which, DBP Posse, please take us all out of here with a nice Lakey Lake beat. That's it, y'all. Peace.